Welcome to Guns 101. It's our video welcome message for all the new gun owners. It's brought to you by the Self-Defense Radio Network. I'm Rob Morse from Self-Defense Gun Stories. My partners tonight are Amanda Suffolcool from Eye on the Target Radio. The guy doing the heavy tech lifting behind the curtain, that's Paul Lathrop from the Polite Society podcast. This evening, we're very lucky to have Anthony Colandro. He's built the Gun for Hire range in Woodland Park, New Jersey. Anthony, you're a legend amongst instructors. What are we going to do with all of these new gun owners who are in quarantine? We can't get them to your range. We can't get them into your classes yet. How do we keep them safe till they can come out and learn more?
Well, the first option, first thing we should discuss is when you get that gun home, obviously you haven't shot it yet. You should make sure you have a gun lock. Every gun under Project Child Safe that's purchased today comes with some type of trigger lock or cable. If you don't have them, every local police department, including gun stores, should have them. You can get them free from the National Shooting Sports Foundation under Project Child Safe. So that's the cheapest method to store a gun, to make sure it's not accessible to somebody and they can't fire it. Then if you're going to be spending $500, $600, $700, $800 on a gun, you should be looking at other options, whether it's a lockbox with a couple of press keys. I'm not a huge fan of biometric safes. I don't believe they've evolved enough yet. I prefer a safe that has 4 buttons on top and you turn it. And a little trick for you newbies out there, I take a Centrum Silver every day because I'm 59 years old. And I keep my Centrum Silver in my gun safe that's in the drawer of my nightstand. So I get 365 lessons a year of opening that safe, take my vitamin out, my gun is in there, 2 flashlights, 2 magazines, loaded Glock 19, to be honest with you. So I believe that's one of the best storage options, and by burning it into your brain with muscle memory and repetition to be able to open that safe is very, very important. If you're going to make the commitment to own a firearm, you newbies out there, storage is important because the gun ownership is your responsibility, and you do not want that gun to get into the hands of someone that shouldn't have it, whether it's a child or anyone else in your house, or if someone should break in. Obviously, we have to weigh safety with accessibility. That's one of the reasons why I like a safe like that. Biometric, I worry about if your hand is sweaty, if you've got a cut, you're wearing a Band-Aid. Worst case scenario, your fingertip is bloody because something just happened and the reader doesn't work. After 2 or 3 times, you're probably going to end up throwing the safe at the bad guy because you can't get it open. A key to me is not a very good option because you have to have it on your person all the time. And if you hide it somewhere, children can find it. Right. So, and the gun storage I'm talking about for a pistol, we're literally talking under $100.
Right. They
even have wall mount ones for long guns, like a shotgun or a rifle. Those are about $60, and you can get them on the internet. You know, if you're a big box retailer or I prefer a local gun shop because I'm a small guy, but you can get them now. If it's closed, you can go online and buy one today. So to me, these are important options for storage. Now think about the other thing is you do not want ammunition accessible to unauthorized persons either. Do you want one of your children to bring a .40 caliber round to school for show and tell or to show it to his friends in this day and age? So ammo should be in a secure location too. Don't just lock the gun up and keep the ammo in your garage or in your basement or on your workshop bench if you bought a couple of extra boxes of ammo. 22 ammo, notoriously, when I was a kid, we used to throw them and the rim would hit the ground and they would blow up like popcorn. Probably not the safest thing in the world to do, and I do not recommend it. So all ammo should be secured as well. Amanda, do you agree? You didn't have to cut me off yet.
No, I don't have to cut you off because you have rolled right through it and still have time left over. So if there's something you want to grab and run with, you're more than welcome to. But no, I think those are great pointers. Rob, there's something you were going to roll?
Yeah, what? Okay, we've got them safe so the gun isn't a danger in the home. There's so much more we want these new gun owners to learn so that they're really defending their families. Anthony, what are the highlights of that education?
Okay, so I talked about in that box having 2 flashlights because 2 flashlights is actually 1 flashlight because the batteries could be dead. What I also like to keep in that box is a front door key attached to a Solume light stick that if your house was broken into and you hear somebody in the house, when the police arrive, if your bedroom is upstairs or in the back of a ranch house or something, you could be locked in your bedroom, making that a safe room, and staying on the line with the police department. Rather than walking through the house to open the front door for the police officers, you can crack that light stick and tell them you're going to throw it out the window, and they can let themselves in the front door. So that's just a good exercise. So there's a ton of things that a new gun owner can do before a range opens. And here's some of the drills I teach people. Get yourself some snap caps or dummy rounds. Now, when you're going to do exercises, muscle memory exercises and workstation exercises, no ammo in the room. We want to triple check that the gun is empty. We want to triple check that the magazines are empty. Now, me being a little older, fat, and lazy with a fake hip and a fake knee, what I do is I throw an old blanket on my bed, on the side of my bed. I stand with my knees touching the side of the bed, and I get into a workstation, and I practice a sticker or something on the opposite wall. I practice workstation, drawing the gun, acquiring my front sights, dry firing. If it's a striker fire gun, you can slightly cock the slide back with your finger extended, index finger extended, come back against your chest, workstation out, focus on that front sight, squeeze, come back, do it again. You can do this over and over and over again. Now, why do I stay at the end of the bed? Because I'll get my 2 or 3 magazines, and I will put the snap caps or dummy loads in a few magazines, and I will practice loading and unloading and racking the slide. I'm not big on using the slide stop, all right? I believe you should slingshot a slide. Index finger extended, you should pull back till you hear the click and let go, and let the kinetic energy of the slide and the spring go forward. Riding the slide can induce a jam or a stovepipe or a jam up. And also, using the slide stop, you tend to put the gun in an uncomfortable position where the muzzle is not facing forward. So the first couple of days that you do these drills, I'm allowing you to look down. But then after day 3, you should not look down anymore. You should be able to go through your workstation, drop magazines, reinsert magazines, rack the slide, reacquire the target without using your eyes. Because if you're in a self-defense situation, you do not want to be looking down when the bad guy or girl is across from you and giving them a tactical advantage. You should be able to do this blindfolded after 2 or 3 weeks. Now, if you dry fire through this technique 5,000 times before the range opens, you will be deadly. As far as people squeezing the trigger too hard, I tell people they should hold the gun so tight that oil's going to come out and then release it slightly. You shouldn't be, yes, you shouldn't be tremoring when you're squeezing the gun. It should be firm like a handshake. And you should use the inside, the center part of your trigger finger, not your distal joint. If you use your distal joint, if you're right-handed, you'll tend to pull every shot to the left. If you're left-handed, you'll pull every shot to the right. And you squeeze so slow that it hurts, like you're coming straight back to touch your nose. Perfect, Amanda. You come back and touch it like you're touching your nose. The gun should fire, and there should be follow-through. You wait a half a second before you slowly release that trigger. If you practice this dry fire technique, the next step I have for you is you can take a spent casing or a dummy round, and you can stand it on the top of the slide of that semi-auto gun, and you should be able to come up and dry fire a revolver or a semi-auto, and that dummy round should not fall off the tip of that gun.
That's a smooth trigger press.
That it really is. So, Rob, we typically take all these videos and say one topic, one video. Rob just grabbed you and sent you completely off to a different thing. So we'll have to retitle this one because I think that that's a lot of really good advice. I showed you my finger with the dot on it because I take a Sharpie and I put a dot on most of my students. When I see that their finger's not in far enough or their finger's way clear into the joint, I give them the dot and then they know exactly where. And we kind of start working from there.
What'll happen traditionally, I've been doing this 28 years, is when people start to get fatigued, they will move to their distal joint to gain more energy, especially with the revolver. See, so I tell people you can keep a factory gun, which is a good gun, because prosecutors, if you're involved in a self-defense shooting, they want to see if any modifications were done to that gun. If you lighten the trigger, because they can use an angle that maybe you fired accidentally. So a stock trigger is the way to go. So I tell my students, rather than a lighter trigger, the stronger you make your trigger finger, the better you're going to be with squeezing and pressing that trigger back over and over and over again by dry firing. As an owner of a range, I shouldn't be teaching people how to dry fire. They should be coming to my range and shooting 10,000 rounds of ammo a year. But as someone who loves firearm safety and education, I believe it's very important that they practice dry firing, because you're building muscle memory. You're teaching your subconscious that nothing's going to happen when you squeeze that trigger, so you can help fight that flinch. Because the human body is not used to holding something.
Well, okay,
that's the next video.
Pulling you out of the topic because, man, oh man, it's Shevitz. You're like, it's such good content. It's getting content. It's moving on and moving on and moving on. So one topic, one video. We'll do another video, and then we'll do another one on top of that. So
when do I get paid?
Okay, yeah, you'll get
the next time we meet, Anthony.
Yeah, I hear Rob's real generous. Maybe he'll buy you a drink or dinner. I don't know. Go on a date. I don't know.
A handshake. When handshakes are allowed again, I want a handshake.
There you go. So, folks, we're talking to Anthony Colandro, Guns for Higher Range, and man, you can see he's a character and he knows his stuff. We'll be back with another video.
It's your